Okay, here's our first demo video. This is my Toltec Gothic Flourishing textbook. Toltec's a font I invented. Here's the miniscules. It's based on Gothic Quadrata Textura, but I modified it quite a bit. My letters are very narrow and a bit rigid and have as few curves as possible in the letter to some extent. Save the flourishes, curves for the flourishing that go around it. And this way, as a body of text, I can really pack it together and make dense texture. Okay, so I'll run you through the textbook. We're going to start real basic, practice strokes, building up into a letter. Slight variations on some straight strokes. More letters with descenders and ascenders. We call descender that part of the letter that goes below the baseline, this being the baseline, and an ascender, the part of the letter that ascends upward from the top of the X height. Okay. Yeah, and then we're going to put some lines together, make words. Here are my Toltec capitals, based to some extent on Albrecht Dürer's style of making capital Gothic letters with the diamonds, but mine are, again, real flat and match my lowercase or minuscules. And I'll show you how to build up and add some flourishing to that. More about descenders here, ascenders here, putting them together, making lines, putting all that together. So it's very progressive. It's an alternative font I have. I wrote no because I didn't want to use it in this demo. Here are some abstract glyphs. These are just abstract shapes based on letter strokes that I sort of built up. Here's lines of those and mixed up with lowercase letters. Another capital form. These are my square Gothic fractal capitals. To get these right, you really have to draw a square and pre-draw all the lines with a pencil before you write them with a pen or brush. These I call serif trees. They're just these decorative towers kind of that I built based on the strokes. I'll just run you through the rest. More abstractions, another alternative font, some examples of how to put them together. Okay, so we're going to start at the beginning. Okay, so put this here. And we start by making a straight line. These clear rulers are really great because you can see through them and make parallel lines by lining up through, by looking through. Okay, so every letter, or every alphabet, I should say, or script, has a certain kind of a feel, certain kind of a weight in relationship to the height. So this is the method that calligraphers use to determine the height of the letter for the pen that you're holding, so that it comes out the right weight. So that will determine what we call our lowercase x height, small letter height. You don't have to be overly accurate. As long as you're in the ballpark, it'll be fine. Okay, that's my strokes. Now I'm going to make another line, but don't place this over. Don't place the ruler on top of that ink. It's wet. Okay, nice clean line, not too dark, not too light. Okay, then we're going to just jump into making strokes. Okay, overlap your guideline a little bit. And just bring the pen down. Okay. Now, three things. Oh, I should say, you want to hold the pen at about a 30-degree angle. Okay, 30 degrees. And It's all about the angle you're holding the pen, the speed with which you're writing the line, and the amount of pressure you're applying. You may have to press a little harder than you think to get a continuous contact with the paper, because what you don't want is to hold the pen not firm enough and get that ragged thing on this side. Or if you press too hard, it can wiggle because you're, trying too hard. So there's, it's all about angle, speed, and pressure. Okay, so let's make a letter out of this. Let's make the letter N. Add that here. Add this to the bottom. Make a thin line here. And kind of try to end this about at the line right there. And then gently bring it to the left and make a tapered stroke. That's how I do my N. Another thing is to watch the negative space. You want the negative space to be more narrow than the thickness of the letter stroke. So you got to sensitize your eye to that. This time I'm going to start with the diamond. Add a diamond here. Historically, the reason you see a lot of diamonds right in the middle of a stroke is because if you're using a dip pen, let's say you did that, you dipped the brush or the pen, and then you got here and it started fading out, you can just pause, redip, add a diamond, redip, and you make sure your letter's like really solid. Okay. All right. Let's do a letter O. So you want like the distance from here to here to be roughly the same visually as from this point to that line. And then, hopefully, just in a visual way, this point will align with that point, more or less. Doesn't really have to be exact. Okay, I'm going to make a word. Let's do this word. I love this word. One of my favorite words. I don't use it that much, really, but I love it. It's a Japanese word. You probably don't know. Even if you're Japanese, you might not know what it means. T-A. And if possible, prevent the letters from touching each other, if possible. That's one of the reasons Gothic is hard to read, because the space inside the letter is similar to the space between each letter, and it looks almost like, well, that could be a letter, but that's the letter. And here's a new letter. It's hard to tell where one letter ends and the next begins. That's kind of why I like it. It makes it more of an abstraction than a literal text, that's meant to be read. Although if you can read it, that can be good too. Okay, another A. Okay, this word is, and I have to say it I'll say it slowly first, Tawaki. But it's never said that way. It usually sounds more like Tawaki, like you're really mad. Because it comes from old samurai movies, and I saw Toshiro Mifune use it in some movie. I can't remember which one. And it just sounds cool, and it's better than curse word if you're mad. You know, I told my samurai teacher one time we were practicing and training, and I used the word "talkie," and he said, well, "What the heck is that? What did you just say?" He didn't know. He didn't hear of it. I said, "Oh, that's the samurai say when they get really, really pissed off. You know, it means idiot." That's what my wife told me. You know, and he's like, "God, I never heard of that. That must be a Tokyo thing." I'm from Osaka, so okay. So I guess they don't know that word in Osaka. I'm not sure. Anyway, so let's end it there on that. Oh, I forgot something. Now wait a minute. It's shouted, right? So it's got to have an exclamation point. Let's give it quotes. Okay, I think that's enough for this video.